me, keep a 20 on me, case emergency. Ain't no cap in my rap. Really, I know it's the truck. More profit mean extra. Emerald white off full of pressure. That cereal milk smoking right. But that Obama rant some special. Kansas City, I'm a chief. Shout out to K5 on this one. Country thinking I was hustling. I always had it on me. Booming like OJ the juice. Till a nigga told on me. From now on, it's relentless. Ain't no love, we ain't friendly. If she want me on him. No the law, she get the business. No the law, still the motto. Empire.
Y'all, hello. Welcome in. This is Birds and Feather Podcast with your boy Q City.
Your boy Ty Bravado.
If we here, in Detroit, we actually recording.
Nigga,
right? So, quick recap of day one of the draft. Let's just get into it, bro. That's a big thing everybody want to talk about, bro. I know a lot of y'all, that TikTok been blowing up. Tosh was going through it last night, bro. But so let me get your feelings. What did you think about the pick? Falcons obviously took Micheal Penix at 8. Let's get into it.
I didn't love the spot. I still don't like the spot, but I like the player. So don't make it shoot us like he was. I have no issue with Micheal Penix as a player. I just did not like it at 8. But given that 6 quarterbacks went in the first 12 picks, it is what it is.
That's what I was saying, right? So like Bo Nix at 12 is diabolical work. That's just crazy. But like if you look at it, and if you trust a lot of the source reporting, you had multiple teams trying to move up for Penix yesterday, right? So the Falcons at 8 was you probably weren't going to have another opportunity to get him.
And I feel like probably like one of the biggest knocks on it is like if Penix was 2 years younger and probably had one less injury, people wouldn't care. But the main argument that I hear is, well, by the time he plays, he's going to be 26, 27. So what? Quarterback play a long time.
That's true. And to be honest with you, as long as somebody gets a second contract, it's a win, right? In terms of what you want out of a first-round pick. So you're not really overly looking for a third contract. As long as somebody gets a second, that was a good pick.
You still would like a third.
You would like it, but I'm saying.
Especially also when you deem as a franchise quarterback, you want them to see that third quarter contract. But so, me being the bigger Twitter user out of the two of us, I've been, going down that quarterback rabbit hole, and I found some interesting tidbits. One of them was when the Falcons went out there to go see Penix, like, people, the interest in the men are surprised because they sent the whole conglomerate out there. Head coach, OC, GM, anyone else that's a powerful decision maker, and they all went out there to go see him. It was a 45-minute workout, but it was cold, windy, and wet. And they said the ball was jumping out of their hand, but such velocity, it still felt like an inside workout. So, Raheem and Zach Robinson coming from LA, they said watching Penix live was very similar to seeing a Matthew Stafford in terms of arm talent. Now, I trust and respect Zach Robinson's ability to evaluate quarterbacks. Like he was among the first on the Patrick Mahomes train when it came around, and I'm not saying Penix is going to be Mahomes. But I trust his eye when it comes to quarterbacks. So if he believes in this guy, and Penix is an elite processor, which one thing they have constantly driven on, he can make every throw. He has a strong arm. He's athletic, whether people want to believe it. He ran a 4.46. Like he's not slow. So he has everything, and then he fits the culture that works for in the building in Atlanta because it is what it is. Now, it could complicate things, maybe not year one, but year two, because now that you have a quarterback that looks like a lot of the people that reside in Atlanta, if Kirk Cousins miss an open read, they're gonna be on his ass.
That pass he made in that playoff game versus the Giants, nah, you're not getting back on it. So that to me is the more like social aspect of it, right? What I looked at it immediately when the pick was made was the financial implications. We talked about as soon as Kirk Cousins was signed. This is essentially a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Right? in all essence, it's a 2-year deal. You have an out in year 3, and year 4 is basically funny money. Year 3, you're going to take a little bit of a cap
It's
hit.
only $10 million guaranteed in year 3. So
Yeah, you're gonna take a little bit of a cap hit. How I looked at the situation, especially like from a macro view and starting to process it a bit more. London, first, Pitts is coming up, right? So you're going to extend Pitts, but he is at the tight end position, right? The highest paid tight ends in the league are around 15 to 8, or 18, I think, tops is Kittle, right? Is 18 tops, right? So even if you get him, and he hasn't overly produced outside of his first year with Matt, you get him in the 15 to 17 range, and you extend him out 5 years, he's locked up. He's great, right? And that would fall in line with the 5th-year option on Penix's contract. London is looking to get extended next season, right? You extend him, and let's just say this is a breakout year, and he's a $20 million a year wide receiver. Not saying you would even pay him after next year. You probably pick up the 5th-year option and let him prove it in year 4. But let's just say you pay him $20 million. You go ahead and get him locked up, right? Bijan will come up the year after that, and he's looking at 14 to 17. Caleb McGarry should be off the books, right?
The market should change by then. It kept going up about, like 10 to 14% a year?
Yeah, but running back.
Well, 7 to 14.
Yeah, running back is still one of those positions. I don't see that cap hit ever getting above 20
I mean,
under any circumstance, even with Bijan being as good as he is.
He could, but
because you got to look at Saquon. Saquon just signed, and I think his cap hit is on like 16.
Yeah, but
right.
Things can change.
So, but let's give it the high end and say you get him locked in at 19 a year, right? 19 a year for 4 years. You are still in an amazing position. You're going to draft over Jake Matthews, right? He's not going to be here for any more than 3 years. You're going to draft over Jake Matthews, which means you're going to have cheap labor at that position. You're going to have to pay your guards, right?
But the guards already paid. But
you're
at least for the next 3 years, because
yeah.
you got 3 more years in him. But
and then Caleb McGarry is most likely going to be off the books.
Yeah, well, because I think you could actually realistically move on from him after the season if you want.
If you really wanted to, I would keep him just because he aligns with Kurt in terms of.
Yeah, I mean Kurt, yeah, but for Penix, he got to go.
Yeah, you got to invest like heavily into the right tackle as a blindside protector.
It flips things. So I do think that depending on how things line up for the draft next year, what the lineman class looks like, because I have no clue what's coming.
What sounds amazing though? Remember how we talked multiple times during the season about how Pitt's knee injury kind of affected him cutting left, right?
But they're cutting right.
Cutting right.
All his rights were cutting left.
Yeah. So now that you flip things with this quarterback, not to say that knee's going to be hurt forever or whatnot.
No, the knee's good now.
But you really put him in a position to work toward his strengths, right? He's still beautiful in the middle of the field. I absolutely love the pick, right? And the GM, the coaches, they were saying everything that I thought of as soon as they made the pick. If Kirk is good, you don't expect to be drafted in the top 10 for any other year.
And for like some context, in Kirk Cousins' years with the Vikings, where he actually played all the games, they never picked lower than 18.
You don't expect to pick that high, right? You got to look at it. We've had 3 straight years of 7 and 10. You cannot put a rookie QB out there or a journeyman QB out there, go 7 to 9 wins again, and expect this fan base to stay engaged, right? So, like, you had to put forward massive effort to do something about the quarterback position, right? But with Kirk, you've quote-unquote stabilized the position for 2 years. With the pick of Penix, you stabilized the position for 6, right? Like, Kurt might not finish year 2. I think he will. Sitting here today, at this draft, I think he will finish year 2. But there's a good possibility he won't finish year 2. Kirk is going to be the quarterback this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Even if the bottom falls off, I don't think they'll put Mike in straight away just because the cap hit is pretty big on year 2. So you're going to bring Kirk back regardless. And like I expressed, you still got those dudes that you want to re-sign on the back end. Our defense is really paid. When we were talking about it yesterday, with that pick and the skill positions being heavily invested in free agency and whatnot, I'm seeing heavy defense today in rounds 2 and 3.
I mean, you could see like it really just depends on what's available because like it depends on what edge rushers you like, corners. I mean, the cornerbacks, yeah, I definitely see a cornerback early in round 2. And I've been reading on Twitter. You know, you can't trust all the Twitter sources, obviously, but I've been reading that the Falcons are trying to trade back into the second so they can have 2 second rounds. Because, and I imagine with the other second they target an edge rusher, maybe Nealand or Ellis, or the two I'll probably have my eye on. And then probably round 3, they probably be just like a lineman or a receiver.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that we weren't able to get back into the first round. Obviously, we stayed all the way to the end of the first round. We wanted to just make sure, hold out hope.
I mean, I told you it wasn't going to happen after a certain point.
Yeah, but
When Malata was going, because Malata was going, I pretty much kind of gave up on them trying to trade up. I was hopeful, but like I kind of ran out of ideas on who. Yeah, because Latu was their top rated defensive player, and that's on record. So, and they were trying to trade back up into the first round, into the teens before the Colts took them at 15. So they kind of shot that down. I do expect them to address corner though, because I mean I like Clark Phillips, but the size, you know, and because we have pretty big receivers in our conference, even though he plays well, you know, I don't really like the prospect of him lining up across from Mike Evans potentially.
yeah, that'd be kind of rough. That's not the best.
I love him as a slot corner.
Speaking of our division, didn't really see any major moves out till the end of the first round where Carolina went up and potentially got, you know,
What was that a major move? They moved the 1 spot.
yeah, to get honestly, and to me, those type of moves are really just like, hey, I'm betting on potential, and if things don't pop over the next couple course of years, I got the 5th-year option on you, right? Like that was a trade to make sure you got the 5th-year option because I don't think Buffalo would have taken Leggett in that situation.
I like Leggett, but I did not like him over Larry McConkey and A.D. Mitchell.
So I would have assumed that he would have been there at pick 33 as well. Like you really just moved up so you could have the ability for the 5th-year
This
option.
is the 2nd year in a row that the Panthers took 2 of my favorite receivers. Last year was Jonathan Mingo. This year was Leggett. Leggett was my favorite receiver in the class. Even though I know he's not the best, he was my personal favorite. Like I do expect my favorite quarterback in this class, Spencer Rattler. I expect him to go relatively early today.
See,
today.
now I got I was about to say I got Spencer going around 3.
I think he's going to. I mean, Bo Nix went at 12.
Bo Nix went at 12. Y'all, Bo Nix went at 12. Like I know a lot of y'all that are Falcons fans or UGA fans, and y'all remember him at Auburn. This man went 12, dog. That is crazy. But I mean, it just goes into there were 14 offensive players selected before there was 1 defensive player. Just in a row. And then that was another thing, right? About the Penix pick. People are like, oh, you know, Latu or my boy from Florida State,
Verse
or
Turner.
Each of them went in the teens, bro. You didn't have great value selecting any of them at 8.
Well, I can't say you wouldn't have great value because I mean it just depends on how the boards fall. They just value the offense level.
I agree with it. I think that, especially seeing where they were drafted. Now, I know one of the things that you were saying was that, like, you didn't like where the pick was, right? Didn't have a problem with the player, didn't like the pick was. But like I was saying there, it takes 2 to tango, right? Like, it doesn't matter how much.
No, they had an offer. They just didn't want to miss the player because the Saints, the Seahawks, and the Raiders all were trying to trade it to get Penix in the top 10.
Yeah. You can't take them chances.
What they looked at is like, okay, well, we could make the trade, but we don't want to miss out on this player because we feel like he could be one of them guys. So I'm a big proponent of if you believe in it, I'll take him. So did I like the spot? No, but am I going to bitch and run about it today? No.
I think that he's going to put a hot seat on Cousins this year. But like, I need y'all to understand that Cousins is going to. No, I'm saying from a fan perspective. But I need y'all
from
to
the
understand.
ignorant fans' perspective. Yes, if you feel hate, then you hate. It is what it is.
Yeah. Cousins is starting.
But realistically, they gave Kirk Cousins $90 million guaranteed over the first 2 years of the contract. So Penix realistically won't see the field until he's 26 years old.
26, right? He might start the season. Well, no, he'll be 24, so he'll start the season 26.
Yeah,
he'll start the season.
Realistically, he won't see the field till he's 26, unless Kirk isn't as healthy as we think. But I'm pretty sure he'll be just fine.
Yeah, he's been rehabbing and whatnot, and then that's the other part.
He's been practicing with the team in OTAs. So
that's the other part I wanted to talk about, y'all. Like, understand this man is 34 or 36.
He's
36.
So in
coming off
2 years, he's gonna be 38.
Coming off an Achilles.
So like the people talking about, it don't make sense for XYZ. I mean, I always thought they were taking a quarterback. I knew a quarterback was being drafted within the first 2 days. That I didn't know. Didn't expect it at 8. But you know what? I'm glad it wasn't JJ. So,
hey, look, I did pick JJ.
If it was JJ, I still would have been mad.
No, if it was Bo Nix, we would have had to. We had to cut the show.
No,
we had to cut the show.
Yeah,
just to be honest with you.
If it was JJ, he would have been doing it by himself.
If it was JJ, it'd have been just me. If it was Bo Nix, hey, look, we just wouldn't have been here. Like, we just said, hey, look, it's been cool, it's been real. So, no, if you remember one of our mock drafts, one of them I had the Falcons selecting a quarterback at 8. I took JJ over the sense that I thought that age mainly just with the age component and us, getting Kurt, is that they would want that person by the time he touches the field to be 23. But one of the things, like talking to some friends last night and really just sitting down thinking about it is that, like, if a guy at 23 isn't as good as your guy's going to be at 26, what's the point in taking him? Right? So you have extra years of mediocrity for what? For what? If Penix hits the field at 26, right? He finishes out that first contract by 28. You sign him to a 5-year deal. He's 33. And you don't want to re-sign him at 33, 34. You had 8 good years of quarterback play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, we just went through 3 years of, like, subpar quarterback play. The last year, Matt, Mariota, and Ritter. Like, if you're telling me I got 8 solid years of quarterback play ahead of me from one guy, and then 2 years from another, I've solidified the quarterback position for 10 years. I'm doing exactly what I need to do. So, like, that's, you just think about it all the way out. These GMs are not planning for just this year. Like, they have to see the team in totality. And, like Taj was saying, the draft is not over. This was round 1.
We got 7 more picks. We got 8 total. We got 7 more draft picks.
Yeah, more than enough ability to go out there, do what's it called? We can shore up the defensive line, right? Add pass rushers, because that's what everybody wanted. The linebacking core is pretty decent. And then that's another thing that a lot of Falcons fans came to consensus against. We've been saying all we are is a quarterback away. How many true needs does this team have that wasn't filled in free agency?
This edge rusher, the main one in the corner.
Edge rusher and corner. Edge rusher and corner 2, really. Corner 2, really, because you got slot and you got people that you can rotate. Maybe a safety. I wouldn't be opposed to getting a safety.
It just depends on if you just love somebody. I'm eager to see how this really plays out today. 3 picks today. It's going to be interesting.
I don't see too many situations where, to be honest, I think we have 3 picks today. I don't think we end the day with 3 picks, like you said. I think they find a way to move back into the second round.
I still think there's going to be 3 picks.
Were you going to dip in the next year?
No, because just to move up in the second ain't going to cost you a third.
We got 2 thirds, though, don't we?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If we move into the back half of the second, we're going to give up one of those thirds.
No, we're not. We still going to be picking 3 times. Because we got 1 second. You just moving that 1/3 up around.
You're right. You're right, y'all. Hey, look. Math in real time, dog. Math in real time. Yeah, because in my brain, I'm like, oh, package both of them thirds, but you don't have to pay that much. You don't have to pay that much. But something he brought out, the fact that we have never stayed where we're supposed to when picking in the second round.
Nope.
Right? So
we always trade up. The only time we traded down was Terry's first year when we picked Reggie Grant. Other than that, we traded up for Ebiketie, and we traded up for who was it?
guard. Syracuse.
Bergeron, yeah. So, we've yet to stay put in the second round. The first years we've maintained our spot in the first round. We at least move up on one of the seconds. The Troy Anderson we had too, but I expect a small jump up to probably get one of the edge rushers or even a corner, but probably a corner. I expect a small move up for a corner.
So we still got Cooper out there. We still got Kool-Aid and the chemistry, right? So I think both of them. Actually, Cooper fits our defense, our proposed defense, a bit more than Kool-Aid, right?
They both fit it. It just depends. Depends on what player you like more. I'm slightly higher on Cooper just because I feel like he gives you a little more versatility. He's a bright skinned Jalen Ramsey.
I was gonna say we went black quarterback, so white corner feels it feels right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, talk about an interesting duality, but I could see them trading up for a corner in round 3, probably an edge rusher and then a receiver or offensive lineman. I could definitely see the offensive lineman, especially with McGarry probably in his last year with us. It's a strong possibility that he might be out there, so they might try to draft as a eventual replacement. But when you look at how the Falcons assembled the coaching staff, with 8 former quarterbacks on it, they were basically telling us, like, even watching earlier, watching Raheem Morris at the combine interview, like, he's been kind of alluding to Penix the whole time. Like, where he was talking about, yeah, man, we want to get in here, we want to see the medicals, and hopefully we don't get our heart broken.
And to solidify that position, he spoke very highly on the fact that, like, had this team had better quarterback play, he wouldn't be here. Yeah. So he just saw what Arthur Smith went through, and went through with the free agent signing and no true plan behind it.
I don't even think it was Arthur Smith then. I think because in the interview when I seen this from Steve Weiss. In the interview process, when Raheem interviewed the first time, he said it was very important to have a succession plan in place for Matt Ryan. And obviously, they did not do that. And the result was we've had 2. I mean, you could debate a third year, but we've had 2 years of quarterback purgatory. So what Raheem did was he went and got a quarterback that he knows that there's going to be solid and dependable, like essentially our Alex Smith, and then he got the guy who think we could take us to the next level.
And in all truth and honesty, he recreated the circumstances in which he interviewed for the job the first time.
Yeah.
Like, not saying Kirk is as good as Matt Ryan, but, like, he had his quarterback and he has a succession plan. Yeah. And now he gets to live out, hey, this is what I told you we should have done in the first place. You know what I'm saying? He is definitely tied to this situation.
Just that, but it's also the fact of, like me and him disagree on this because he's saying they took him because of the possible penalty of them taking the first. They're not taking the first. I think
you gotta let me shoot my whole theory.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
So they're not taking the first. Where it makes sense for me is if you believe a guy is a guy, you take him, no matter what. So if you and then they said they don't plan on picking this high again. So if you find a quarterback you like either next year or the year after that, how expensive is it going to be if you're not going to be picking in the top 10? It's going to be very expensive. It's going to cost you multiple firsts. So why give up all that when you could just spend this one first now and still, utilize the rest of this draft and free agency because you have a pretty good team. And Kirk Cousins is going to elevate the play of Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, even maybe even around that more. And then Bijan is going to open so much up for Bijan and Tyler Algier. And then once they're elevated, when it's Penix' turn, they in turn can elevate Penix.
Absolutely, right? He's got all the skill positions around him at that point. All right, so let me get my tinfoil on. This was my conspiracy theory, and I saw it on Twitter. I told you I'm gonna get better on Twitter. I seen it on Twitter as well, so it didn't let me know I was too far out in left field. But so my thinking was, you're not going to be picking high, but could the Falcons have been in a position where they thought, hey, this is what I told you, we should have done in the first place? You know what I'm saying? He is definitely tied to this situation. Just that, but it's also the fact of, like, had this team had better quarterback play, he wouldn't be here. So he just saw what Arthur Smith went through, and now he gets to live out, hey, this is what I told you we should have done in the first place. hey, this tampering charge may be substantial enough that it takes a first round pick. Now, Kirk Cousins is coming off an Achilles injury, right? There's a very strong chance he is shot. People don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, but there's a very strong chance. He's already
you don't invest that money unless you're sure.
No, I'm just saying, in terms of how he's playing, let's just keep it real. You tore your Achilles.
Yeah, but he's not a quarterback that relies on athleticism.
He's not.
And he tore it, like, medically clear. From all medical clearances, he'll be cleared by training camp.
I'm praying for the best. I told you, the succession plan, I expect Kirk to win 10-plus games, right? But worst case scenario, which I feel like teams have to protect themselves for with players coming off an injury, right? And the bottom falls out, and he is not able, like, he's bad. What if you don't have a first-round pick next year because of the tampering charge? I get what you're saying. Oh, they might not take a first. But what if they do, right? They took the Dolphins first for talking to Tom Brady.
No, they had somebody on their yacht. They physically was talking to him.
They took the Dolphins first.
Because they had him on the yacht. He talked to our trainer. It's not the same. It's not the same. No. Nigga, no.
Hey, look,
nigga, no. Don't.
So let me finish my theory.
No, apples and oranges. I'm not going for bullshit. I'm not going for bullshit.
Let me finish my theory. So if that first round pick gets taken,
it's not
right. You don't have a first round pick. Your quarterback sucks at that point, and you're in hell and purgatory, right? And you've invested so much money in there, which means at this point you're going the Desmond Ridder route again, second, third round quarterback in the second year of a quarterback that you truly don't believe in, right? Especially from a guy who spouted about the fact that you need a succession plan in place, right? So would I give it like a 50% that has something to do with it? No, but it's a non-zero chance. So the second thing, one thing I like, it was just the most beautiful thing that I heard in that press conference. That dude's annoying. I'm gonna let it go. But but the thing that I heard in the press conference, and this is like one of those corporate American things, but mentorship is mentee driven, right? So one of the questions asked was about, like, what does Kirk have to do or show? And Raheem Morris straight up came out and said, Kirk don't got to do nothing, right? Remember when they got on Ben Roethlisberger because he was like, nah, it's not my job to show you anything. Like,
Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill. Like, I ain't got to teach you nothing or whatnot, right? Like, no, here's the thing. They don't. Mentorship is mentee driven, right? You need to be nose, like, axe to grind, like nose to grind, bro, the whole time. You need to be watching this man. And if he's not going to sit down and break down film with you, then you just need to watch how he breaks down film. If he's not going to sit and work on your throwing mechanics with you, then you need to watch how he throws and you have to put in work. Mentorship is mentee driven. And I feel like a lot of people miss that and a lot of people lose that because they feel like everybody should just be taking time out of their day, their life, their schedule to just be showing you the ways of the Jedi. It's not the case. It's not the case. Mentorship is a mentee-driven process. And so, like, I love that answer from Raheem because Kirk ain't got to do nothing but show up, be professional, and do his job. And it is Penix's job to learn from him. So I love that culture and tone setting within the building. Like, that's beautiful.
So, in terms of the pick, Penix, the main thing from what I've gathered through the various videos I've seen was they were comfortable taking lots away or trading down. The reason they didn't trade down was because of the interest from the Saints, Seahawks, and Raiders, all in trying to get into the top 10 to trade Penix. So the Falcons then realized, okay, he's not going to be there for us later. So we really want this guy. We think he's this caliber of talent, so we got to take him now.
It's easier to get him now and see if you can get back in to get the defender than get the defender and see if you can get back in to get a quarterback.
You never pass up on a quarterback for anything, especially if it's something you fully believe in. And obviously, they believe in it because they took him at 8, even though they just gave Kirk Cousins the $100 million guarantee.
So, you guys, that was day 1. We gave you some little predictions for day 2. We will be out there again tonight. Detroit is woefully unprepared for this draft. I just want y'all to know that. Yeah. Like, it is top 10 terrible. Well, you said next year's in
Green Bay.
Green Bay, right? Hopefully Green Bay is better. But like Detroit is just they figuring it out. But we will be on again tomorrow or tonight. Y'all get another episode, right? And we'll talk about whatever picks we make today. So this has been your boy Q City.
Your boy Tyler Bravado.
We out.
Peace.
Like a chopper, looking like I hit the lotto. I want a hottie like mulatto. I'm on hand, she on Moscato. I'm in them good till tomorrow. I'm a robber for the Neros. Your little loss, I'ma put you on payroll. You smell that aroma? Design the air, it's a party in here. Papa Corona, she moving the body, she working them heels. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20 on me, case emergency. I wake up early every morning. Thank the Lord and get the bag. Hustle hard, get the cash. Stack first, then I'm showing my ass. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20 on me, case emergency.
My babies, that's who I grind for. That's who I do it for. Like the Navy, that's who I'm toting that iron for. Keep one in the head like a thought, nigga. Yeah, I fuck with Ty, he a boss, nigga. Foot on their neck, I exhaust, nigga. Niggas cross me, so I cross, nigga. No stripper was lit last night. 500, what it cost, nigga. Shit was really legit last night. Had them hoes at the house, nigga. Instagram, Snapchat, Triller. What they say about Jay, he a go-getter. Used to have them fat sacks in the grove, nigga. Late nights, early morning in my dough, nigga.
You smell that aroma? Design the air, it's a party in here. Papa Corona, she moving the body, she working them heels. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20